At 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Tonight, the San Antonio family of a U.S. soldier who died this past week in a helicopter crash in Egypt is en route to receive their son's body to bring him back home.
That soldier, 34-year-old Dallas Garza, was expected to return in March of next year. He leaves behind his fiancée and children. Now his family says they want him to be remembered for the values he stood for. The Night Team's Japhanie Gray with his legacy.
He's really our hero, and he always was.
34-year-old Dallas Gerald Garza selflessly served the United States of America for 14 years, reaching the rank of Chief Warrant Officer 3 in the U.S. Army.
All he wanted people to do is try, and you saw that the way he lived.
Growing up in a military family, Garza realized his goal of serving his country from the skies as a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. But Thursday would be the day he and 4 other Americans would take their final flight. Their helicopter crashed during what the U.S. Army says was a peacekeeping mission in Egypt. It was a knock at the door his father never wanted to have.
All us military knows that when they come to your door and ring that doorbell, and they're in uniform with a chaplain and a commander, then you know.
Only one person survived the crash, a fact that gives his family peace because they believe Garza played a role in their survival.
He would do everything in his power to save as many people as he can.
Garza was known as an overachiever.
Without surprise, he was top of everything.
His family says the father of 3 was very intelligent, charismatic, and touched so many people worldwide.
It's apparent with the flood of messages I get.
Always rocking a Texas flag, Garza loved San Antonio, and he loved his namesake, the Dallas Cowboys.
He wanted to take us to the games, but we never had a chance to go to the games.
His family hopes Garza's legacy serves as an inspiration to others.
Enjoy everything you do. Set an example for the people you touch.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
And military investigators say the crash may have been caused by mechanical issues, but they have not yet issued a final ruling. Meanwhile, turning now to coronavirus and the latest numbers for Bexar County tonight. Health officials announcing 133 new cases and 1 new death today. In addition, 116 backlogged cases and 6 backlogged deaths have been added to the county's total.
Hospitalizations rising again today. As of tonight, there are 384 people in local hospitals, with 131 in intensive care and 67 on ventilators. And as we're seeing case numbers and hospitalizations slowly tick up here at home, Dr. Robert Leverance with UT Health San Antonio joined KSAT's Leading SA segment this morning to talk about the timetable for a possible vaccine. Take a listen.
We should be seeing data on those vaccines as well. And so once again, we're optimistic. For the first time, we're seeing a positive glimmer of hope in regard to this pandemic. And boy, we need it now more than ever, because as you've already reported, the surge is getting pretty serious once again this fall.
You can watch the full interview with Dr. Leverance right now on KSAT.com. We also want to remind you a new COVID-19 testing site for asymptomatic people is available at the AT&T Center, lot number 2. From 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The testing is free and appointments are not required. The test is a self-administered nasal swab, and you can expect results in less than 24 hours.
Camping equipment stolen and a group of young scouts asking why tonight. Leaders from Cub Scout Pack and Boy Scout Troop 345 say thousands of dollars in camping equipment was stolen along with their trailer. They tell the Night Team Stephen Cavazos why this was another blow in a year full of setbacks.
It was disheartening. Somebody's just taken our trailer with all of our gear inside.
Tony Lukenhouse is still trying to grasp how anyone would want to steal from a group of young boys. Lukenhouse is the Cub Master of Pack 345. He says the trailer is shared with the Boy Scouts of Troop 345. Both groups are charted at Northwood Presbyterian Church. Lukenhouse was preparing to take the pack to a campout in Hondo when he noticed the trailer was gone yesterday. The trailer was used for storage, equipment, and camping gear. Lukenhouse estimates close to $10,000 was stolen.
There's a lot of equipment in there that we had acquired over the years, and you just can't replace that overnight.
Pack leaders informed the young Cub Scouts during Sunday's meeting outside the church. Lukenhouse says the trailer was funded through popcorn sales from Cub Scout members almost 10 years ago. Some of those members are now part of the Boy Scouts troop.
To think that somebody could go back into our alleyway and take the trailer that we've been using for years now is a bit surreal.
COVID-19 put a delay on camping trips for several months, but the troop had just started using the trailer last week. Benton Ward said it was a tough reality to face.
We just got finished cleaning it too for our first camp out since Corona hit. And I was just like, it was real sad.
But the group of young community leaders are staying optimistic and say just because their trailer is gone, their camaraderie is not.
It is a setback. It is just, one part of the group.
Now, PAC and troop leaders are still trying to figure out the best way to move forward when it comes to camping trips, but they say the most important thing is getting this group of young boys back outside and staying productive. Now, Tim Courtney, we are told that a police report has been filed, but if you have any information, you are asked to contact police. Live tonight outside Public Safety Headquarters, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Tim Courtney.
Thank you, Stephen. Other top stories we're following today. San Antonio police say a sweatshirt helped them find and arrest a suspect wanted in connection with multiple armed robberies. John Anthony Garcia is now facing 2 counts of aggravated robbery. Police say Garcia wore the same white sweatshirt and threatened cashiers with a distinctive weapon, a black handgun with a silver barrel. The first incident was at the Circle K on West Avenue back on November 4th. According to the police affidavit, Garcia walked to the front counter, pulled out the gun, and demanded cash from the register. Police say video surveillance shows he got the money, walked out of the store, and got into a Ford Explorer. 2 days later, Garcia was seen entering the Circle K on Callahan Road. This time, police say he asked for cigarettes before pulling out the same gun and demanding money. Garcia was arrested overnight during a traffic stop.
Tonight, San Antonio police are looking for a man who allegedly stabbed another man over on the city's north side overnight. It all happened at the corner of Broadway and Greenbrier Road around 1:15 this morning. Officers tell us a man and a woman were in the parking lot of the Citgo gas station there talking when another man walked up to them. That man later stabbed the other man in his torso. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. That suspect taking off on foot. It's not clear at this time whether the two in the vehicle knew that man or if there was any kind of altercation leading to that stabbing.
A woman is in serious condition after firefighters had to use the jaws of life to rescue her following a crash this morning. It happened just after 1:30 a.m. on Prue Road. Police say 2 vehicles were aggressively driving down the road when one vehicle clipped the other, causing the driver of that vehicle to lose control and slam into a pole. A woman inside was thrown from the car and pinned underneath the vehicle. She was taken to the hospital for serious burns to her body from exhaust. 3 others were taken to the hospital as well, and at last check were in stable condition. As for the other vehicle, the 2 men inside were not injured. Police say drinking may have been a factor, but no word yet on any charges.
Another crash to tell you about here. Police looking for a wrong-way driver involved in this overnight crash. It happened this morning on the 151 Access Road and Military Drive. Police say the wrong-way pickup truck driver hit another vehicle head-on. A passenger inside the truck got out at the scene and was taken to the hospital in stable condition. The driver of the truck took off and still hasn't been found. As for the other vehicle, the 3 people inside were not seriously injured.
Dueling rallies across the Alamo City today. One, a Biden-Harris caravan celebrating the president-elect's win. The other, one of many so-called MAGA marches seen around the country this weekend.
Both of those events today very peaceful, with folks on both sides saying they eventually want unity. Organized by the Bexar County Democratic Party, the Ride with Biden caravan kicked things off at 1:30 this afternoon at Pittman Sullivan Park over on the east side. The caravan rode around the city for a few hours, complete with flags and banners supporting both President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Those participating told us they feel hopeful about the next 4 years.
I'm just hoping for a good 4 years to come, and we're here to celebrate that.
A peaceful transition of power is our legacy to democracy.
We wanted to let people here in Texas know that we are also here. We are proud Democrats, and we are just wanting to encourage everybody in this area.
Meanwhile, across town, supporters of President Trump began their MAGA march at Travis Park, which was followed by a Trump train. The marchers walking for a couple miles, passing by the Alamo on the way. People we spoke with in this group say they shared their disappointment with the election results and say they are holding out hope until recounts are completed and results have been officially certified.
We're here backing up our president, and we're praying for him, we're marching for him. He fought for us, we're going to fight for him.
Trump fought so hard for us. we need to be here for him.
He has been an amazing leader of this country, despite all of the negativity and the attacks on him.
Though he still refuses to concede, the president today seemingly acknowledged for the first time that Joe Biden won the election. In a tweet this morning, President Trump wrote, "He won because the election was rigged." He then went on to continue questioning the validity of the election, but it should be noted that none of the claims that have been made have been validated, nor has the Trump administration yet brought forth any evidence suggesting actual fraud of any kind. In a later tweet, the president walked back his earlier statement and doubled down on his refusal to admit defeat, saying, "I concede nothing. We have a long way to go."
Outside with live cam, 57 degrees. Nice and cool out there tonight. Hope you had a great weekend. Essentially a tale of two weekends. Warm and muggy yesterday, but a taste of fall back to South Texas today behind a pre-dawn cold front. And yeah, it just felt so much better out there today. Aside from those gusty winds, thankfully, winds are light tonight. Here's a look at your high temperatures today. 75 at the airport, 77 over in Gonzales, some upper 60s in the hill country. And while we're in the mid to upper 50s now, I expect we'll be near 40 degrees early tomorrow morning as everyone is heading out the door to get the new week started. Plenty of sunshine, though, coming up on your Monday, but be sure to have a jacket ready for the first part of the day. By the afternoon, not so much. Be ready to layer up this week. We'll talk about what you can expect over the next several days coming up in the full forecast.
4 astronauts off to the International Space Station. We have video from the launch and we'll tell you what makes this mission different. Plus, a group is bringing their gift of music to help soldiers and veterans in Military City, USA by turning their stories into songs. Find out what inspired them to use their musical talent to give back in this week's What's Up South Texas.
Plus, as with almost every other night this week, coronavirus cases and hospitalizations are rising in almost every state. This as many governors are imposing new restrictions in an effort to combat the virus. The latest next. Tonight, cases of coronavirus surging across much of the U.S. Many states now implementing new measures to try and slow the spread of the virus as hospitals are struggling to keep up with the number of new patients needing hospitalization.
With a vaccine possibly ready by the spring, we're learning distribution could be challenging and costly. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with the details.
The U.S. now topping 11 million cases of coronavirus, 1 million new infections in just the past week. According to the COVID Tracking Project, nearly 70,000 patients now receiving hospital care. A record high, hospitalizations climbing in every state except Massachusetts and South Carolina.
The healthcare system's breaking, literally breaking.
In Washington state, Governor Jay Inslee announcing sweeping restrictions on indoor gatherings, closing bars, restaurants, and gyms.
Inaction here is not an option. We have to take bold, decisive action.
Michigan enacting a 3-week pause that begins Wednesday, targeting indoor social gatherings and other group activities.
These steps are what the public health experts say we must take to avoid overwhelming hospitals and death counts like we saw in the spring.
In El Paso, the coroner's office overrun by the rising death toll. 380 deaths under investigation. Haunting images show prison inmates helping to wheel the dead out of the medical examiner's office. New Jersey hitting back-to-back daily case records. The governor with this message to people who find masks uncomfortable.
You know what's really uncomfortable and annoying? When you die.
As a number of cases continue to rise, President-elect Joe Biden has been blocked from coordinating with federal agencies, including teams inside Health and Human Services planning the distribution of a vaccine.
Our experts need to talk to those people as soon as possible so nothing drops in this change of power we're going to have on January 20th.
Pfizer is expected to seek emergency use authorization for its vaccine from the FDA as early as this week. But the reality of supplying and distributing millions of doses will be challenging and costly.
This is a massive operation.
The CDC director warned Congress back in September that it still needed about $6 billion to help states prepare for what could be the largest vaccination campaign we've seen. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
You know, we could talk about the cooler temperatures out there, or we could talk about Katie's new friend over there in the weather
Oh,
center.
he's so cute.
Yeah, so can you tell who this is supposed to be?
Santa in some way?
Yes.
He's a little googly-eyed. 2020's been a little rough.
I was not going to guess, just in case I was way off.
I was hoping the hat would kind of give it away a little bit. Yes,
Yeah.
This is my masked up Santa. This is actually a Salvation Army red kettle. I did a little bit of TLC on it here, but I am honored to be part of the Salvation Army's Parade of Kettles this year. If you're not familiar with the Parade of Kettles, basically different people from around San Antonio, local businesses get together, decorate a kettle in order to participate in some friendly competition to raise money for the Salvation Army during the holiday season. So if you go to salvationarmysanantonio.org, you'll see the Parade of Kettles tab. You can click on it. You'll see everyone that is competing this year, and you can click there and make a virtual donation to anyone's kettle. Of course, I would love your support because I'm in 4th place right now, and I would like to move up a few spots.
We need to fix that.
Katie,
Of course, our
Santa.
Yeah, all
I'm gonna
proceeds.
go vote right now.
All proceeds go to the Salvation Army, of course, but this is to help the less fortunate in our communities. I know this has been a hard year for everyone, but if you find yourself in a position that you're fortunate enough to make some donations this holiday season, I would be honored if you would support the Salvation Army. So keep an eye out for my Santa kettle. He'll be making the rounds around town.
What's the link again? One more time.
salvationarmysanantonio.org, and then click on the Parade of Kettles. So just wanted to introduce my friend Santa. Keep an eye out for him around town over the next few weeks. Let's get to your forecast now. I really hope you enjoyed today. That wind, a bit of a nuisance, especially this morning into the early afternoon, but we had some really dry air settle in. Overall, a much cooler day. Morning low of 61 up to 75 this afternoon. That's more like it for this time of year. Our average morning low is 50. We're going to get a whole lot closer to that over the next few days. In fact, below average through the middle of the week. So here are your morning temperatures. 40 tomorrow morning. Will stay in the 40s through the middle of the week and then start to warm up a little bit more toward the end of the upcoming work and school week. But some cold mornings coming up the next couple of days, and really what to wear this week. I posted this on social media. In the mornings, you'll need a light jacket or a light sweater, but by the afternoons, you'll be able to get rid of that, and short sleeves will be just fine. So the key, I think, is to dress in layers this week. Take a look at how much lower our dew points are right now than they were this time last night. Dew points are down some 40 degrees in most spots. That's a very significant drop in our dew points. So again, that's why it felt so nice and dry out there. Our temperatures are down as well. Compared to this time last night, it's 19 degrees cooler here in San Antonio, 25 degrees cooler up I-35 in Austin. That puts us in the 50s and 40s for the most part across the area. Still sitting at 60 in Cotulla, but overall nice and cool and very, very dry out there tonight. So with the dry air, clear skies, light winds in place, our temperatures will bottom out for a lot of us in the low 40s, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a few spots in the low 30s up in the hill country. No widespread freeze expected, though. But look what happens by tomorrow afternoon. We start off on the cold side, but we'll be back mid to upper 70s. Flirting with 80 down to the southwest tomorrow afternoon, again, because we'll have plenty of sunshine and also that really dry air in place. When our air is this dry, very easy to cool down overnight, very easy to also warm up in the afternoon. So what I had there, the temperature map of Texas, yeah, it's cool up in North Texas, but it's not that much cooler up in Dallas than it is here in San Antonio. So not a ton of cold air behind that front that moved in today, but of course a lot of dry air as you felt this afternoon. Elsewhere across the country, pretty quiet. In fact, the front that moved through San Antonio is out in the Gulf of Mexico, but it's moving along the East Coast as well, producing some severe weather across parts of the Northeast and New England tonight. But behind this front, we've got an area of surface high pressure moving into Texas, and that means things will be staying pretty quiet for us over the next couple of days. The surface high will hang around tomorrow, even into Tuesday. That'll keep a lot of sunshine going. That'll help to keep the drier air in place as well. It won't be until the back half of this week that surface high pressure starts to move over to the East Coast. Then a southerly wind will return, but really that's not going to happen until Wednesday into Thursday. So that's why things are going to be staying nice and dry and quiet for us over the next several days. Unfortunately, with that surface high around, that also keeps any hope of rain out of the forecast for this week. So again, overnight dropping down into the low 40s. I'm doing the clicker shuffle here, still getting the hang of it. So 40 in the morning, 75 tomorrow afternoon. Keep in mind, layers are your friend pretty much this whole work and school week, guys.
All I got to do is hit send and then it's done. That's how quick you can do it.
Oh, thanks.
Aw. We'll have a preview of Instant Replay right after this.
We'll be right back.
The Houston Texans got close to beating the Browns in Cleveland today, but Mother Nature had a hand in this one. Let's find out what else is on Instant Replay tonight with our Greg Simmons.
Yeah, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was nuts. And the Cowboys return to play. Why has Ezekiel Elliott's performance dropped off? We got the stats to compare coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Started talking, and then this happened, a squall and a thunderstorm, and that sent the players in. Baker Mayfield was enjoying it.
The Houston Texans had to battle the Browns and Mother Nature today in Cleveland after their game was delayed by 30 minutes due to hail and high winds. Only 2 touchdowns combined in this game, and Baker Mayfield's return from the COVID-19 reserve list.
I really like the mix that we have going right now with Zeke and Tony.
All right, the Cowboys get ready to return after their bye week. And when they do, will Ezekiel Elliott have a better second half of the season? We will show you his compared stats for this time last year. And who had the best pass, the best run, and the best game? We will show you the best of big game coverage and a brand new #1 team in 12's top 12. All that plus a controversy in boxing, one-on-one with Mario Barrios. And who should the Cowboys start at quarterback this Sunday? Tonight, you decide. Instant Replay is live, and it's after the Nightbeat. I vote B.
Yeah, I've been to some of those games in Cleveland when the storms come up.
Like that?
You know, that's no fun.
That's ridiculous. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Hold on
crazy.
to your hats.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. We'll have more not instant replay, but what comes before instant replay, the second half of the Nightbeat.
We can't go home yet. Well, after several days, 4 astronauts have officially taken off for the first regularly scheduled commercial voyage to deliver a crew to the International Space Station. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez reporting on this historic mission from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
Finally, this international crew of astronauts on their way to the International Space Station.
And resilience rises. Not even gravity contains humanity when we explore as one for all.
Their mission named Resilience, acknowledging just how challenging this year has been for everyone.
You know that year 2020 is a tough year for everyone, and we'd like to bring a positive image for the people who's watching our mission.
Weather delayed the launch a day because NASA, concerned not just about the rocket lifting off, but also coming back down after sending the astronauts into orbit.
We're going to reuse the first stage that we're flying on Crew 1. So it's important to recover that booster, and so we needed to get the drone ship in place.
28 hours later, once the astronauts are on the space station, NASA says they'll be conducting transformational research, especially when it comes to medical breakthroughs. And it's work these astronauts can't wait to get started. First-time flyer Victor Glover telling us it will be the trip of a lifetime.
I can't wait to go up above 100 kilometers and to live on the space station, and that fascination that I look forward to sharing with people, I have it as well. It burns bright.
This crew will spend about 6 months up at the space station, setting a new record for space travel. Gio Benitez, ABC News, Cape Canaveral.
Around America tonight, police in Cincinnati, Ohio are investigating after they say 4 children were injured during a drive-by shooting there. Cincinnati police say the drive-by happened yesterday afternoon. The victims, 2 boys and 2 girls ranging in ages from 12 to 15 years old, all suffering non-life-threatening injuries. They were taken to a children's hospital. Investigators say they are still looking for clues which could lead them to a suspect.
In the nation's capital last night, at least 1 person was injured and 20 others arrested during protests. Officials with D.C.'s mayor's office say the victim suffered multiple stab wounds and was left in critical condition. 2 police officers were also hurt, but so far we don't have any details on their injuries or conditions. The post-election protest took place throughout the day in Washington. Officials say they remained peaceful until nightfall when fights broke out between pro and anti-Trump protesters. Several guns were also confiscated, according to the mayor's office.
The man accused of sucker punching actor Rick Moranis has finally been arrested. Video from October shows Moranis walking down the street in New York's Upper West Side when a stranger walks towards the actor and punches him in the head, knocking him to the ground. New York police say a member of the department's transit bureau identified the 38-year-old suspect as Marquise Ventura, who was arrested and charged. As of right now, it's still unclear why Ventura punched Rick Moranis.
Still sitting at 57 degrees, nice and cool out there. Very, very dry air in place behind that pre-dawn cold front that moved through today. It would have been nice to get a little bit of rain with that front, but it was just not in the cards. This does set us up for several cold mornings this week, and that starts tomorrow. If you want to get out early for a walk or jog, we're going to be seeing temperatures near 40 degrees. A quick warm up though, as is usual here with the dry air in place. We're only going to be in the mid 60s by 11 a.m. Very light winds if you have a jog planned for early Monday morning. More on what the week ahead has in store coming up in just a bit. Courtney.
Thank you, Katie. Taking a soldier story and turning it into song. It's one of the ways a local group is helping service members work through struggles like PTSD. Hear it for yourself next on What's Up South Texas.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
Turning the stories of Military City, USA into songs. That's what one group of men is doing to help soldiers and veterans flex their creativity while working through PTSD and other struggles.
It is the subject of this week's What's Up South Texas on the heels of Veterans Day. The night team's Japhanie Gray with the soldiers' songs and voices.
Music is meant to be shared. I want to share it with everybody.
Music plays an important role in the lives of these men you see here.
Bring us your PTSD, bring us your TBI, bring us your missing limbs, and let's see what we can do with that.
Each one of them now acts as an instructor, a facilitator, and mentor with the Soldier Songs and Voices San Antonio chapter, a nonprofit where they teach veterans and soldiers guitar and songwriting lessons.
Kind of a way of dealing with post-war conflict and people that get out of the military, people that are still in the military, and a way to voice their feelings.
Once a month, the group meets with men and women from all over to convert their stories into songs, strengthening their bond of brother and sisterhood.
We're not therapists, we're not counselors, but when we're making these efforts going through, we all feel better after the time.
It has changed the lives of veterans like Chris McAllister.
It's an amazing, powerful tool, and the music that is created through this group, not just in San Antonio, but everywhere, it's amazing.
Terry Tanner.
I personally struggle with PTSD, and I know that songwriting is one of those things that can get people out of their shell.
And David Marshall.
Oh, there's other people like me, so let me try this out. And just showed up, and you got to show up in one meeting before you go, yeah, I'm in it for life.
They say the lessons are therapeutic.
And when that notion kind of comes in and there's a little bit of rhythm and a little bit of melody, it comes together. I always feel great when that happens.
You had the worst day ever that day, and you can puke that out on the paper and get rid of it, get it out.
If my experiences and my trauma that I went through, if I can put that in word, put that to music, and convince them, do that emotional transference, then yes.
They've helped over 50 veterans mentally and physically, which makes the experience even more rewarding.
He's excited, I'm excited, we're excited, he's writing songs. I can't put it in words. It just blows me away.
Uniting military families through music is a beautiful melody for What's Up South Texas.
It doesn't matter if you serve 1 year or 25. If you want to come out and you want to share, we're here for you.
Reach out for help and learn your creativity. You have a song in there somewhere.
Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
The healing power of music. You can never go wrong with that. There is nothing worse than Wi-Fi that just won't work in your favor, especially when most of us are working from home these days. Coming up, some solutions to solve your Wi-Fi woes. So how's your Wi-Fi? Now that you're working from home more, you're probably on the internet much more and running into the dreaded dead zone in your home. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz looks at solutions for your spotty Wi-Fi.
It's frustrating. You're on your device around the house and you have a Wi-Fi dead spot.
We had a dead zone on the deck in my backyard where we would hang out and barbecue.
So Consumer Reports tech guy Rich Frisco used his own home to test a possible solution, Wi-Fi extenders.
Well, after I put the extender halfway between the router and the deck, I had a really good signal out there.
Two that did well in all of CR's tests, the Nighthawk from Netgear, and a less expensive option, this model from TP-Link. Keep in mind, internet speeds from the extender may be slower than you're used to. That's because extenders cut speeds in half.
Getting the most from your Wi-Fi extender relies on a lot of factors, including the speed of your internet service provider's connection, the distance from your router to where you're putting your Wi-Fi extender, and the areas of your home you're trying to cover.
The extender solved his problem, but if you're having Wi-Fi issues all over your house, you may need a mesh network. That's a system of 2 or more units that work together to blanket your home with a strong Wi-Fi signal. But many good mesh networks cost between $200 and $500. A less expensive mesh network Consumer Reports recommends is the TP-Link Deco Whole Home. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Just a reminder for you, KSAT is teaming up with our community partner SA Youth for its Stuff a Stocking Holiday Drive. Right now through December 18th, you can help 650 students in their out-of-school time program. SA Youth says a $25 donation will cover the cost of one holiday stocking filled with small toys, arts and crafts, and healthy snacks. You can also help out by donating wish list items to the nonprofit, such as Play-Doh markers and stickers. We have the full list of items and a link to donate on ksatcommunity.com.
And we're finally getting a little closer to feeling like holiday weather around here, at least in the overnight morning hours. Afternoons, not so much.
I feel like Katie and I are willing it. We're wearing Christmas colors today.
There you go.
Yes,
Exactly.
I noticed it. We're willing the holiday spirit and weather.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to
Is that overboard?
No.
Okay.
It works, man.
Yeah, we are. This week, I don't know about you guys, Courtney. You may I see my heavier sweaters in the morning, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's in the 40s.
Yes.
Cool. But you have to remember that we're in the mid 70s by the afternoon.
Yes.
So layers, layers, layers. If you are going to be having no problems with your Wi-Fi at home tomorrow, working at home, here's the forecast. Nice weather to maybe open the windows. Again, cold in the morning. Maybe give it a couple hours there, but we'll be climbing into the low to mid 70s by the afternoon. So a nice day coming up tomorrow. We're talking about all the sports delays because of the crazy weather up closer to the Great Lakes, eventually into the Northeast. Here are all the wind reports in the last 24 hours. Big line of severe thunderstorms moved east across portions of Kentucky all the way up to Ohio, eventually making it over to New York, Washington, and Boston tonight. There was a tornado warning just north of New York City. Severe thunderstorm warnings there east of Boston as this strong line of storms moves off into the open Atlantic. This is because of the same front that came through in the pre-dawn hours here in San Antonio. This morning, you'll note all the rain-making energy is way up to the north with this front, so that's why it was a dry frontal passage for us, but it certainly made an impact. I know you noticed the changes today, and we are going to reap the low humidity for several days this week. And so because the air will be so dry, we're going to have these big spreads in our morning and afternoon temperatures. So the next few days, morning lows will be in the 40s, but we'll climb all the way up into the upper 70s in the afternoons. Toward the end of the week, start of next weekend, morning lows won't quite be so cool and crisp because we'll get our dew points back into the 60s by Friday into the start of next weekend. But for the next several days, because the air is so dry, it is going to be quite cold out there to start our days in the mornings there in the 40s. Quick check on what's going on in the tropics. We've got Hurricane Iota. The system has been strengthening rapidly here in the Caribbean. And if this looks familiar, it's because this is essentially the same track that Hurricane Eta took not too long ago here, making its way through the Caribbean, approaching Central America. And if you'll recall, all the damage reports in the video out of portions of Nicaragua and Honduras because of Eta was catastrophic flooding there, deadly. And they are unfortunately looking at another hurricane making landfall. Category 4 hurricane expected to make landfall here along the coast of Nicaragua. A ton of heavy rain is going to move inland closer to Honduras. So places that already had way too much rain are looking at widespread totals of nearly 12 inches, some localized totals up to 2 feet of rain. Now that will be through the middle of the week, but Essentially, anywhere you see this yellow color, that could be more than a foot of rain, and that's just not what those folks need there. Essentially, here at home, we're looking at the complete opposite. Very cool days ahead for us this week. I wish we could get a little bit of rain going, but unfortunately, it's not in the cards as far as our weather is concerned for the next week or so. In the meantime, we'll enjoy the nice cool down that we have in place. Temperatures in the upper 50s now will fall all the way down to the low 40s through early tomorrow morning. So jackets in the morning, short sleeves in the afternoon. We're looking at a high temperature around 75. Winds will be light tomorrow. They'll turn around to the east, but they'll just be about 5 miles per hour. So really light winds, not only tomorrow, but also for the next couple of days. So quiet weather this week. We'll bring back some more humidity by next weekend. It does look like our next front is probably another 8 days or so away. Hopefully that frontal boundary will stir up at least a couple of showers. But again, that's another 8 days away, guys.
Good weather for decking the halls on the roof and ladders and all those other things.
It's time. It's time, Tim. You got to get up there.
I'll be out there this week.
Well, it's also a good time to be a fan of horror movies. Help me out on this one, but we'll explain why with a look at your box office report next.
But Halloween was last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met a woman. I want to be with her for the rest of my life, without lying about my past.
The Liam Neeson thriller Honest Thief made off with $800,000 this weekend, bringing its 6-week take to $12.4 million.
This is Larry. He isn't from the world you know. Larry just wants a friend.
Come Play skittered back from second to fourth place on ticket sales of $1.1 million.
You're not putting me in a home.
What if it were our home?
Jenny! The War with Grandpa yielded no ground this weekend, holding on to third place with $1.3 million.
We're trying to locate a Donnie Weeboy. He married our son's widow. Got our grandson with him.
The Diane Lane Kevin Costner drama Let Him Go fell out of first place down to second with $1.8 million.
Honestly, if this was a horror movie, I'd be one of the first ones to get killed.
Cue the creepy dude in the mask.
It is a horror movie, and while it didn't make a killing at the box office, Freaky debuted in first place, scaring up $3.7 million. The Freaky Friday-esque fright flick stars Vince Vaughn and Katherine Newton as a serial killer and high schooler who unintentionally switch bodies. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
New twist on an old tale there. Tiger Woods passes the torch, or in this case, the green jacket, to the new Masters champion today.
Very special. And a major controversy in boxing after Joshua Franco's world title defense was stopped in the second round. With more on what's on Instant Replay tonight, let's head to Greg Simmons.
Yeah, that was weird. One time I'm looking down and I look up, they're boxing, look down again, and they stopped, and now they're looking at replays for 27 minutes or so.
Probably a
whatever.
rematch to come.
Yeah, and UTSA beats UTEP by setting a record for the most offense against all kinds of odds this weekend. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
It's nice to have a bright spot in this otherwise crazy year.
Dustin Johnson won the Masters today with a record-breaking performance, and what made it even more special, he had his brother on the bag. We'll show you how he was able to do it in a major controversy in boxing, as Joshua Franco was in the middle of his world title defense when the fight was stopped, and it took 27 minutes to review the outcome. And that's not all from the inside the ring.
Again, I mean, he was in there, to take what I've worked so hard for. So I mean, it's only business. As soon as we stepped in the ring, all respect, goes out the window.
Our Larry Ramirez goes one-on-one with San Antonio's other world champion, Mario Barrios, for the first time since his successful title defense in the Alamo Dome on Halloween night. And UTSA scores their biggest offensive performance in their 52-21 rout of UTEP against all odds. The latest Spurs trade rumors before draft day on Wednesday. The sports guys are back tonight. Instant Replay is live, and it's next. And we'll probably get into who do we think is going to be here and who do we think is gone from the Spurs.
Not going to be the same band getting back together.
Don't think so, no.
All right. Thanks, Greg. We'll look forward to that.
The annual Rockefeller tree is now in place, which means the countdown to Christmas is officially on. Katie and Tim, I know you're excited. A closer look after the break.
Looks better than the Cincinnati one.